Yeah, the government. They increased the percentage of ethanol in gasoline to 30% with the creation of E30 and increased the percentage of biodiesel in diesel to 15% with B15. Today I'll show you that this group of politicians, sons of... By the way, I can't even curse at this point in the video because YouTube demonetizes videos with swear words in the first 30 seconds. Today, I'm going to show you that this increase is going to ruin your car, showing in practice what happened to me and how diesel messed up my car. Hey, engineering lovers, I apologize. But today's video, besides having a technical and scientific basis, will also have a personal touch. Nothing teaches more than showing you in practice the problems caused by politicians who lack technical preparation and are out of touch with reality. Today, I'm going to show you how decisions made by the Brazilian government, disguised as solutions, are hurting your wallet and your vehicle. And this won't just be theory, I'll show you in practice. For those of you who have a diesel-powered car, or for those of you who are thinking about buying one, what the increase of biodiesel in diesel did to my car and what it's going to do to your car. By the way, it's not just affecting cars, but think about the number of truck drivers who fill up thousands and thousands of liters a day using this miracle fuel promised by the government. Recently, I saw a commercial on television showing that the government was going to reduce fuel prices by 20 cents per liter. With rising ethanol and biodiesel percentages in fuels.
Correct, 20 cents less per liter. Starting in August, Brazil will have cheaper and cleaner gasoline and diesel. The federal government approved E30 and B15. This means 30% ethanol in gasoline and 15% biodiesel in diesel. And in practice, the consumer saves money. You can rest assured this doesn't affect your car's performance.
And here I say that at first glance, everyone might see this as a good thing because it affects your wallet, right? But behind this reduction in fuel prices, nobody takes into account the maintenance you'll have with this crappy fuel. But before I continue, I want you to watch this video here.
Ludo, you see, Ludo is stuck on the filter cup. You see here, Igor, right? We're going to have to remove the emission collector to check the decarbonization, right? Decarbonize the emission collector and exhaust gas recirculation valve and remove the high pressure pump to send for repair, correct? The screen is dirty on the inside too. 4 injectors.
This sludge that the mechanic mentions comes from biodiesel, that miraculous and clean fuel that's supposed to save Brazilians. Let's start with the most recent fact. You certainly saw that recently the government increased the mandatory biodiesel blend in regular diesel to 15%. The justification was noble, to reduce costs and decrease our dependence on international oil. But the reality is quite different, and meanwhile, we keep paying for one of the most heavily taxed fuels on the planet. Data from Agência Nacional do Petróleo shows that taxes account for up to 30% of the final price of diesel at the pump. If the real goal was to ease its cost, the most direct measure would be to cut this exorbitant tax burden, not increase biodiesel. Now, you must be wondering what corruption, more specifically corruption at Petrobras, has to do with this? And I say no, everything. Remember the Lava Jato scandals that shocked the country? 2 strategic projects were destroyed by embezzlement: the Abreu e Lima refinery and the Rio de Janeiro petrochemical complex. Comperi. We invested 80 billion in them according to the Federal Court of Accounts, and it was our chance to produce diesel on a national scale, reducing costs. But because of the misappropriations, Abreu e Lima operates today at less than 20% capacity, and Comperge has become a white elephant. We import 25% of the diesel we consume in Brazil, paying in dollars, and this is where biodiesel comes in. With the refineries struggling, the government found a quick and easy solution to force more biodiesel into the tank. But this has a hidden cost for you. Biodiesel is hygroscopic, which means it absorbs water like a sponge. Now think with me. Biodiesel comes from organic matter, and since it absorbs moisture, it ends up creating a perfect microenvironment for bacteria like Pseudomonas and Cladosporium. And no, this isn't only a theory. Agência Nacional do Petróleo and Fundação de Amparo à Pesquisa do Estado de São Paulo have confirmed studies that microorganisms proliferate in biodiesel. And the result? That sludge that clogs filters, corrodes nozzles and injectors, and causes engine failures. And it makes the engine have absurd malfunctions, which, guess what, only happened to me. If you've ever had to clean the tank or replace components earlier than expected, you know what I'm talking about. And here I bring these beautiful little pots, the nozzles and injectors of a diesel engine. And for those who've had to replace these, do you know how much it costs to replace each one of these little guys? I had to replace all 4 in my engine at 20,000 kilometers. And the worst part is that this solution of increasing biodiesel doesn't solve the main problem. As long as the tax burden stays among the world's highest, according to the World Bank. We only lose to a few countries, like the Netherlands and Norway, when it comes to fuel taxes. And the price will keep suffocating your budget. I don't know about you, but if Brazil had Norway's and the Netherlands' public transport and roads, that would be fine. I would happily pay that tax. We pay first world country taxes to get the services of Brazil. Biodiesel even slightly reduces production costs, but the gains are cancelled out by taxation. The math is simple. If the government cut taxes, like it did temporarily in 2022, the relief would be immediate and noticeable. But what about the practical damage? Well, it goes beyond your experience with sludge. The International Council on Clean Transportation warns that biodiesel in high concentrations accelerates the degradation of hoses and seals. Interesting, isn't it? And I didn't even have to replace all the intake hoses in my car, as well as the fuel pump, and clean out the entire tank. Modern engines with high pressure injection like the Euro 6 are especially vulnerable. FIV Europe Gesellschaft mit beschränkter Haftung, which is an engineering consultancy, demonstrated in tests that mixtures above 10% require adaptation, something that most Brazilian cars don't have. So, what is the real impact of government incompetence on your life? You pay more taxes than necessary. Second, your car suffers from unstable fuel because of choices that ignore technical evidence. Third, we remain hostage to expensive imports because vital projects were sabotaged by corruption. And as long as we don't demand efficiency in public management, with strict audits at Agência Nacional do Petróleo and Petrobras and a structural reduction of taxes, your diesel will remain expensive and your engine at risk. The solution is not in a magic mix, but in governing with competence. And here I want to know which congressman will watch this video, and I know there are some who follow us. If they are going to take the reins of the problem and really solve this situation, go ahead, pay an independent and non-political research to verify the situation that causes this increase of biodiesel in diesel. Check how the sectors and lobbies adjust themselves to force things on the population, something they sell as beneficial, but in practice it's nothing more than personal interest without any technical basis. And I said this video would have a personal side, and I apologize for that. But after you almost have an accident on a highway and spend really a lot of money to fix your car, and you find out that the only problem was simply the fuel. It's enough to make you outraged at the situation, and I haven't even mentioned the increase of ethanol in gasoline yet. That's because those who have cars that run exclusively on gasoline and weren't designed to handle such a high ethanol mix in the gasoline will start having problems with their cars. Here's a tip. Start paying attention to the fuel pump, which will start working at its limit. And consider replacing the fuel injectors because guess what? They're also starting to have a lot of problems. But it's just a tip. If you've made it this far and enjoyed the video, take the opportunity to subscribe. If you're not subscribed, like and enable notifications. And if you find our content interesting, consider becoming a member to help us keep making the next video here on the platform. And be reminded, I strongly invite everyone watching this video to leave their comments here about what they think about this increase in these blends in our fuels. And more than that, I invite you who are watching me now to go to the official pages of your favorite politicians and demand that they do something about it. Just demand that they do their job. Because if you haven't had a problem with your car yet, stay alert, because it's only a matter of time before the problem becomes yours. The one who pays the price for an incompetent government is always you. Right here, there are 2 video options that can help you expand your knowledge and explore your curiosity. If you'd like to support us, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, or consider becoming a channel member. Thanks, engineering lovers. See you in the next video.